We got work to do.
Welcome to How the Hell, a Supernatural podcast. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Christine.
And this week we're talking about Season 4, Episode 8, Wishful Thinking.
Yes.
Yeah. And if you don't recall, this is the one where Sam and Dean investigate a small town where a working wishing well brings chaos.
Oh, that's a good description.
Yeah. I just Googled.
Yeah.
And
that was a good one.
It is a good one.
I really liked this episode a lot.
I'm so glad. I mean,
I really liked it.
If you guys don't remember that from the description, what this episode is, it's the one where the teddy bear tries to commit suicide.
Yeah. Yes, unsuccessfully. And I told Kristen as soon as I walked in her house for us to record today, I was like, I felt really bad about laughing at that. But I laughed out loud and I was like, life is pain. Like, for real. Teddy, I feel you, bro.
Yes, I totally felt that, Teddy, in that moment.
Poor guy.
I know. And this is a really funny episode. And it's got a great team behind it. It was directed by Robert Singer. And then it says the teleplay was by Ben Edlund, who is just killing it whenever he comes in. But the story is by Ben Edlund and Lou Bolo. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But Lou Bolo is the stunt coordinator.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So apparently he was just like chit-chatting with Ben. And he was like, you know what would be really funny?
Just dabbling. Huh.
Yeah.
Didn't we have another episode a while back where someone who had a different job on the show did the writing for it too?
We did.
Like helped them with the writing? I don't remember which one that was, but that's cool that they bring people in who want to work on it.
Yeah, I mean, I can just imagine even though they're not writers, they're involved with the creativity of creating the episode and
yeah, totally.
And they're probably just thinking up funny stuff and
just because you're not a writer doesn't mean you can't have good ideas.
No, absolutely not. Obviously, this was a great idea.
Yeah. I love this. And it also was juxtaposed really well with the story, the part of the overarching storyline that we wanted to know more about right now. So that, even during those moments, I was kind of glued to the episode.
Yeah, they actually did a really good job of still informing us what's going on with Dean and Sam in relation to hell and all of that.
They talked a lot to each other, which was good.
They really did. And Dean kind of opened up a little bit, but also kind of shut Sam down.
Yeah, he shut it down.
Yeah.
But I get it.
It seems like it's for a good reason, So we don't really have any music for this episode. It was just kind of background noise, essentially.
Yeah, essentially. I can mention the background noise.
Sure.
So one of them was called Friday Night by... You're going to have to help me out here. Howell Freundlich Overdrive.
Is that Bachman Turner Overdrive?
Yes, but it's different names.
It's the cousin of.
And then Wikipedia says, Supernatural Wiki says that song plays in the restaurant when Sam asks Dean about hell. Okay. And then the other song is Main Theme by or Peter Blood by Eric Wolfgang Korngold. Korngold is a really unfortunate name.
Yeah.
And this plays from the TV when Wes is sleeping in his house.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't notice either one of those.
No, I didn't either, but there you go.
But
Supernatural Wiki's on it. Thanks for that.
Supernatural Wiki. So let's get into the episode. At the very start, there's a recap. And this one's pretty heavy with the recap.
Totally.
We see Castiel threatening Dean that he can throw him back into hell. Dean lying that he doesn't remember a thing. And then us getting introduced to Uriel, a specialist, which I keep on finding is such a funny way of describing him. It's just so like a specialist.
Yeah, it's kind of a fucked up way of describing him.
Yeah. And Uriel basically threatening Sam, saying the only reason he hasn't killed him is because he's been useful, which I didn't pick up on when we watched that episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess because I had to watch it in detail to take notes. Like, I picked up on that. So it was when he like told him, when you are no longer useful.
Right.
Like, that's when you're in trouble, and I'm going to kill you.
But I guess, like, because they're telling him not to use his powers, what is he doing that's useful?
Totally.
Right?
Yeah. I don't know, man.
But yeah, he can turn into dust, and he needs to ask Dean what he remembers in hell. And this was just like last episode, right? This was right at the end. So we're not getting too far away from that. Again, just carrying on the story, the plot of season 4. It's coming together. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff happening.
I like the way it's coming together, too. They're not letting it lag.
No, which was our issue in season 2.
Mm-hmm.
So the episode starts with a lady showering. It looks like she's kind of in a gym shower or something like that because it's pretty big. And there's a boy with a bowl cut lingering behind her on the other side of the shower wall. And she turns around, but right as she turns around, he becomes invisible. And we see her get out. She wraps a towel around herself, and we see like a handprint on the fogged up shower door. And
I liked that effect.
Yeah, it was pretty really cool. And then a moment later, she takes the towel off her head and then throws the towel as if to the floor, but also she's throwing it so high.
Just like gonna fling this behind me into the air.
But instead it lands on this invisible boy's head. But instead of some malicious response, the boy goes, hello, Mrs. Montgomery.
I was like, what?
What's going on here?
That's a really nice ghost.
Yeah. And then we get the credits. So kind of an interesting start. We think she's going to die.
Yeah, it was very foreboding. Like the way they set up the whole scene was like she's being stalked. There's this figure behind her and then it disappears and we're like, oh, there's like a creepy ghost. And he doesn't have a shirt on.
No.
Which is also creepy. And I'm like, well, she's in the shower. So it's like, yeah, very threatening. And then he says like in this like dorky kind of teenage sounding voice, like, hello. And it's like, what?
Yeah. And even though he's not even though he has a bowl cut, he does kind of look a little creepy. He's actually played by Callum Worthy, who, oh man, you haven't seen the act yet, right?
No.
He plays Nick, Gypsy Rose's boyfriend in the act. And
wait, so the act is actually like reenacted or something?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize that was the deal. I thought it was just documentary.
No, it's like a
like a whole production?
Yeah, a reproduction of everything with Gypsy Rose and Dee Dee Blanchard. And Callum is amazing as Nick, the creepy, kinky boyfriend of Gypsy Rose.
That's cool.
It's amazing. After the credits, we see that Sam and Dean are in a bar. They're chit-chatting, and Sam's like, he's not waiting to ask Dean about this stuff. He says, why would your...
Sorry to interrupt. I was really surprised. Like, wow, he's just getting right into it.
Right, because Dean, when Castiel told him, like, hey, you need to check out what Sam's doing, he was kind of quiet about it a little bit, right?
Uh-huh.
And Sam's asking Dean, why would Uriel want me to ask you, what do you remember in hell? Dean's totally denying it. He's like, yeah, he's just a fucking dick. Like, ignore him, basically.
Yeah.
And then
why would I know? I don't know. He's just an asshole.
Yeah. And we get this weird, like, this doesn't have anything to do with the episode, but a waiter comes by and I actually read that on Supernatural Wiki that he's supposed to be inspired by Brian from Office Space.
Oh, okay.
So I can kind of see that.
Is that the one who talks about the O face?
No, that's the one, the waiter with all the pieces of flair.
Oh, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to remember. But for some reason, I was placing that character in waiting. But yeah, gotcha.
Yes. I mean, very similar. Very similar.
Too much flair.
Right. And he's like, do you want to try a couple of fryer bombs or chipotle chonga? Which I don't know what either of those things are.
You made that shit up.
Yeah. So he kind of like, he goes away. And Dean says, I have no idea what Uriel is talking about. I promise. And he says this as he downs his fourth shot.
Yeah.
So we're already we see Dean drinking a lot this episode. And that's not an accident. I know that we've seen him drink in the past, but it's more been for fun, right? It's just been kind of leisurely.
Right. He's like drinking with a purpose right now.
And it's interesting because his trauma in hell, this is the start of Dean kind of becoming an alcoholic. And we're kind of seeing that here. Sam's totally not buying it. And he makes him promise that he doesn't remember a thing, which Dean swears he doesn't. So Dean asks, he changes the subject, asks where are they going from there? Sam says there's just some cranky UFO sightings and one vengeful ghost that's been haunting the showers of a women facility. And then Dean's like, say no more. Showers and women.
Yeah, he kind of like spills his drink a little bit like, oh shit, let's go.
Yeah. And they take off to Concrete, Washington. So Dean just being a really bad liar here.
Yeah, I liked this scene though because the waiter was really funny. Like he got on my nerves too, and they're both like every time he shows up, they're both like, "Dude, like, please just stop."
I know it's funny, like going to a restaurant and you're kind of trying to like.
Yeah, maybe you're having like a serious conversation with somebody and you keep getting interrupted, or your waiter's annoying, and you're like, "Can you go the fuck away?"
Yeah, you kind of let them know. No,
Take
we're
the hint.
fine. Please don't come anymore.
Check, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in Washington, Sam is interviewing Candace, the girl from the shower at Lucky Shin's. Apparently, he says the interview is for a book, Supernatural.
I love that.
Right? Gathering stories across the country of haunted, things and events. So very funny, a very funny meta moment. She starts to explain what happened, but Sam gets distracted by a couple nearby. There's a man who's wearing thick Coke bottle glasses, a la Revenge of the Nerds. Totally. And the woman we don't get a really good look at, but she's thin, very well dressed.
Yeah, seems pretty.
But it was interesting that he got distracted by that. Like,
I know. I guess he was just, I don't know. It was kind of sad because was he supposed to think like, wow, that's a really weird match and this is like shocking?
I think that's exactly what he was thinking.
That's sad.
Doesn't seem like a Sam thing to think,
Like you would just kind of notice that and be like, wow, that's weird.
Right.
Okay,
right.
guys. And then just carry on.
But instead he completely becomes distracted until Candace says, it sounded like the ghost knew me. It yelled, Mrs. Montgomery. And then she ran, fell down the stairs, and the ghost helped her out and kept saying, please don't tell my mom.
Oh!
Oh my God.
Helped her up.
So I don't know if we established that she's a teacher or anything like that. I just assumed she was.
I thought so too. That's what it sounded like. And I was like, is this... And when he had said that in the first scene, and I didn't know what was happening, it was like, is this like a dead student or something? I didn't know.
Yeah.
But that's all I had.
That would have been interesting. Yeah, and I'm surprised that they, like, Sam didn't think this is a student until, like, the very end of the episode.
Yeah.
Come on, Sam. Pick it up.
Yeah, if I can make that connection, I know you can.
Yeah. So Sam goes out to Dean. Dean apparently didn't see any EMF readings in the showers. And I think he looks a little sad because he didn't see any naked ladies.
Yeah, he didn't see any boobies either.
All of a sudden, a few kids run past them. And we don't really notice them too much. But picking up, like, if you've seen the episode already, you can kind of pick up Todd is being... Little Todd.
I love Todd.
I love Todd also. He's being chased by all these kids. And, Sam and Dean don't notice, but of course Dean does the run, Forrest, run, which such a dad joke. Such a dad joke. Mm-hmm. Have I ever told you that the first day of college, both my parents dropped me off?
No,
that's
cute.
Yeah, I know, nerdy. And I was late. as usual, because my dad would always make me late. And I ran out of the car and he yelled after me, "Run, Forrest, run." And I was like, I hate you. I hate you so much. That's, like, I get it if you're doing that in high school or whatever. But this is fucking college, man. Don't do this to me.
He's going to embarrass you until the day he dies.
He really
That's
is.
like the dad's role in life.
Yep.
To embarrass their children. That is so great.
Yeah.
Also awful.
I know.
I'm sorry.
So that's Dean right now. And all of a sudden, they notice a man arguing with the sheriff, and they walk over. Apparently, this man saw Bigfoot. And they bring out their FBI badges and say they're here for that Bigfoot.
Yeah, and I think the sheriff's like, "Bigfoot?" And they're like, "Yep."
Yep, we're here for that. Which is funny because it's like, how would the FBI have heard already? Because this just happened.
Yeah.
But the sheriff has no questions at all whatsoever.
No.
So sometimes there's like good sheriffs that are on their feet.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, Concrete Washington just doesn't have the elite working for them, at least in this fictional space. So they walk into the woods where, sure enough, they find Bigfoot tracks. And they're just like, what the hell is going on here?
I love this part. Like, their faces throughout the episode as they keep seeing this weird shit. They're just like,
I don't know what to say. Yeah. What the hell is going on?
What the hell is that?
But, like, it does end up not being Bigfoot, right? It ends up being the teddy bear?
I think so.
Okay.
Poor Teddy.
Yeah. He's
just wanted porn and booze.
he sure did, because they follow the tracks to a liquor store where they see it's been rated a junk food, amaretto and Irish cream, and poured. And Dean says, yeah, this person's getting girly drunk.
Yeah, girl drink drunk.
Which is so really funny. Yeah, that like this manifested teddy bear is horny.
Yeah.
For busty Asian beauties.
First of all, yes.
But has the sense to drink girly, quote unquote, girly drinks.
Yep. This poor bear is so misguided.
Yes. So we do see Dean sneaking a liquor bottle, though, into his pocket. And so that's another thing, man. Yeah. Dean. So the two walk outside and they sit down on the bench and think. They're just like sitting there.
Like stunned. Like trying to come up with something.
Yeah, they're like, what? I don't know. I don't know what the hell. They've got nothing. And one of them says something which I thought was really funny. They said, so this Bigfoot thing or whatever is happening, this alcoholo porno addict is kind of like a Deep Woods Duchovny.
I missed that. Holy shit.
Which I thought was pretty daring of them, knowing really that funny. Like a lot of the producers worked on X-Files also.
Yeah. I wonder if that was like a joke then. It must have been like, I don't know.
I feel like I learned about Duchovny's like sex addiction like later on in life. And after this, I didn't know it was a thing back then.
Yeah, maybe they didn't know it was like a full-blown addiction, but I wonder if he was like kind of known for that or something. And so they were like, wow.
Because I think he was kind of known for like fucking everything that moves, basically, already. So
I know a lot of people who would have been fine with that.
Sure. A little girl rides her bike past them, and from her box drops busty Asian beauties. And so they go and pick it up, and they're just like, it's quite a interest for a little girl.
Yeah, she seems a little young for that.
Yeah. And they follow her to the back of the liquor store where she's returned the liquor and porn with a note that says sorry.
Poor honey.
So cute. I love this little girl, by the way.
Yeah, she was good.
They follow her to her house and they knock and she opens the door and they're like, are your parents home? She says no. And they say, have you seen a big furry? And immediately she's like, oh my God, is he in trouble?
I thought she had Bigfoot in the house.
Right?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, absolutely not. And she says, it's my teddy bear. I think he's sick. And They're so cute. They're so adorable.
They're really
with
good with her.
Because they're like, okay, good, because we're teddy bear doctors. And they're like all patting themselves down, and they take out their health inspector badges. So she takes him upstairs where, right outside the bedroom. And she says, you know, he's sad all the time. Not ouch sad, but ouch in the head sad. Which is, oh my God, such a sad way of explaining it. And he smells like the bus. Oh my God. Poor Teddy.
And he's grumpy, right? And he's grumpy right now.
He's really grumpy right now. And she explains that she wished for it at the wishing well. So that's their clue, what's happening. They ask, where are your parents? And she says, my mom wished for a trip to Bali, so I think they're in Bali.
Oh my God. She's so calm about it. And it also explains something for me because I was like, wow, she just lets them right into the house and they go in. This is kind of like a potentially creepy situation.
Yeah.
But she's like, Mom and Dad aren't home and my teddy's huge.
Yeah.
Please help.
She's kind of dealing with it the best way she can.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I get it now. Thankfully, Sam and Dean are just trustworthy dudes.
Uh-huh. And good for her. Like her parents, you know, I mean.
Yeah, she's clearly pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah. And I don't blame her parents for wishing for a trip to Bali.
No,
you know?
but they probably should have asked for their daughter to go with them.
Right. Probably.
It reminds me of Hermione sending her parents to Australia.
Yes.
Sad.
That is sad. That's just way sadder. Well, they're kind of equally sad, I think.
Yeah, that really didn't get a lot of attention.
No.
Like all the attention it deserved because that would just be... Anyway, side note, something heartbreaking. Like removing your parents' memory of you and sending them to a foreign country.
Right. But I'm actually pretty proud of this little girl because she's still sticking to her morals and returning the box of liquor and porn.
Yes.
With a sorry note.
Trying to clean up after Teddy.
Yes. So I don't think Sam and Dean really believe her at this point.
Yeah. They're like, all right.
Yeah. But sure enough, they open the bedroom door. Dean goes in and there is a humongous teddy bear. Like even bigger than them, I think. And the teddy is like sitting on the bed watching the news. And it's like
explosions.
There's been a shooting that occurred. I mean, relatable.
Yeah, it's horrible. Don't watch the news, Teddy.
And he's just like so upset. He says, look at this. Why am I here?
Or I think first was Neil, like, close the friggin' door. They're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, they're like
just like wallowing,
stunned,
self-pity
by this. And he's like, why am I here for tea parties? You know, that's it. That's all my existence. He's basically having this like existential crisis.
Absolutely. And I get it. You're a teddy. Is that really, there's no greater purpose? There's no higher,
there's not.
You know?
And if you think about it, I mean, there's no like teddy bear philosophy, you know? Like we've already gone through the ages.
He needs to watch
like,
Toy Story.
Oh, yeah.
Because their whole purpose in life is to make children happy.
Why didn't she put that on for him?
I don't know.
I mean, she didn't know.
I didn't think about that until now.
But
he
that
really needs
might
to
have
watch
been
Toy
a cure.
Story.
Yeah. Or because you know we have Nietzsche and all of that.
Right.
We can just read them and just say, okay, yeah, we don't have a purpose in life,
right? But it's okay.
But it's okay. We're supposed to find our passion in life. Yes. And then when we don't do that, we become super depressed.
Right. And spiral.
Right. So they close the bedroom door and they go off to the side and just start whispering and. You know, I
love this conversation.
I know. Because I think, like, Sam, I wanted to say Jared. Sam is kind of, like, stuttering. He's like, are we supposed to, are we going to kill this teddy bear? And
Dean's like, I don't know.
What do we do? Is that what we do? I don't know.
Do we shoot it?
Which I'm surprised because, like, the teddy bear's not really, like, doing anything bad.
Mm-mm.
Like, he isn't, like, the bad guy here. But thankfully they get to that conclusion.
Right. Pretty quickly.
Yeah. And they're like, well, this really isn't the problem. So they go back to the little girl and, she's like, what's wrong with him? And they're like, lollipop disease. That's what's wrong with him.
I thought he was going to say depression.
He was just going to go straight into it.
He's depressed.
Right. No, they say it's lollipop disease. And Dean is so cute in this moment. He says, yeah, it's not uncommon for a teddy bear his size. Which is great. And then they ask, if there's a grown-up she can stay with while they take care of him. And she says, yeah, some neighbor down the street.
Mrs.
Fig. And they ask her where the wishing well is.
Yep, that's what they need to know. And I'm glad that they didn't try to, fight the bear or something. Mm-hmm. They were just like, okay, this poor bear's just he's fine. He's not the real enemy here anyway.
Yeah, he's not going to hurt anybody but himself.
Right.
So they go back to Lucky Chin's because that's where the wishing well is. The little boy, Todd, who we saw running past Sam and Dean earlier, is there wishing something, but he leaves right as Sam and Dean come in, and they go and test it themselves. And Dean drops a coin into the well, and immediately a man walks in and yells, did someone order a foot-long Italian sub with jalapenos?
I love that so much. Because Sam's like, what'd you wish for? And he's like, no, you're not supposed to tell. And then he just walks in with a sandwich.
Right. And it's like, okay, that's obviously his wish.
So, of course you did. Of course that's what you wished for.
And of course, he's immediately eating that sub.
Yeah, that's what he really wanted.
Yeah.
He didn't wish for it for no reason.
No, that's true. Well, Sam is just kind of walking them through all the clues. Dean holds up a front pager that has a man who won a $168 million lottery pot.
Yes, please.
Which is pretty fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dean sees the same couple that Sam noticed in the beginning and says, okay, that definitely goes on this list.
It's so mean.
It's so mean. I mean, you don't know. He could have a great personality.
I know.
And although I have problems with
a lot of money, he could have a lot of money.
Yes, he could have a lot of money, so she could be a gold digger.
Right.
Correct.
You never know.
It happens. That's all I'm saying. It happens.
It does.
But also, is this couple just always eating at this restaurant?
Apparently.
Are there no other restaurants in Concrete, Washington?
It's Wes's fave.
I guess so. He really likes Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I love this owner. He comes right over and he says, sorry, we don't let anyone eat outside food here. And Dean, with a half of his sub in his mouth, says, well, I'm certainly not going to eat the inside food, while he pats himself down until he finally finds the right badge, a health inspector badge.
Yes. So
he says there's a rat infestation and he may have to shut down the restaurant under emergency hazard code 56C.
Whatever.
It's just so bullshit. Yeah. And the owner basically shits bricks because he's like, what? No, I don't have any rats.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Poor thing.
I know. So we jump to the restaurant has been cleared. The wishing well is now without water and they're inspecting it, but it looks pretty normal. Dean asks Sam what he'd wish for, and Sam gets real here.
Yeah.
Really
and
real.
I really liked... It was interesting because Dean was almost encouraging him. I don't really know why he was going along with this so much, but he was like, come on, you don't want to make a wish? You could go back before all of this. You could have a law degree. None of this would ever happen. He was basically saying, don't you want to wish this life away?
Yes. And I wonder if it's because Dean kind of felt like...
Because he's been drinking a lot? I don't know.
Yeah, or he felt content with the sub, so he felt like any wish might just come true and it would be all good or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he hadn't started feeling nauseous yet.
No, not yet. But Sam is like, it's too late for us to go back to our normal lives. Mm-hmm. And so he keeps on pressing him, and Sam says, really what I would wish for is Lilith's head on a plate bloody.
Damn.
Wow.
He's not going back. There's no going back. He just wants to finish this thing.
Yeah. Which is kind of interesting because in season 2, like when we get Dean in the really long episode title that I'm forgetting, where he goes into that alternate universe where his mom has never died.
Oh, yeah.
What is and what should never be.
Yes.
That's sort of his dream, right? That's sort of his wish to go back to a normal life.
Yeah.
Where his mom had never died. But even then, it was too late, kind of, because he was like, all these people that I had saved, they are dead now, and that's because of this. So I wouldn't have saved them.
Right. Now you have to live with that, too.
Yeah. So maybe it's kind of similar where Sam just has too much knowledge of what's out there in the world to go back to a normal life. Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. So Dean all of a sudden notices a weird old coin that's stuck to the bottom of the wishing well.
Which I have to say was actually my first guess about this well. I was like, why aren't they looking at the coins? Just throwing that out there.
Christine, this is why you should be in Supernatural.
Maybe that's our calling. We just need to
yeah, because they're kind of inspecting like the actual wishing well.
Right.
But no, this coin
we just saw like that Celtic coin recently. I think that's maybe what got me on it. I was like, I know that there are weird coins that have power.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, we totally did. This one has a dragon on it. And Dean is like trying to pull it off and can't. And Sam kind of teases him, like, he's like, you lift with your legs. But it's obviously like stuck on. So the two come back in with a crowbar and a mallet to get this coin off. And the owner's like, don't you break my fountain. And Sam, in the best bullshitting of his life, says, sir, I don't want to slap you with a 44-16, but I will.
44, is it /16?
Yeah, something like that.
What the fuck?
And Dean kind of looks at him like, really? And Sam's like, yeah.
And I was like, this owner is so trusting. I would be like calling
the
health inspector's office
again. So Dean tries to wedge the crowbar under the coin and hit it with the mallet, but the mallet just breaks off completely. And that's when they realize they're dealing with a magic coin.
Again, I love their faces. They're like, oh shit, that's a magical coin.
Yeah. It's like, you barely just thought of that. So Sam takes a piece of paper, traces the coin on it. He hands it to Dean to do some research on it. And this is where he's like, okay, I just thought of something.
Yeah. So
back at the showers, a woman is wrapped in a towel, looking in the mirror. Sam appears out of nowhere, grabs the shoulder of the invisible boy who's like standing behind the woman, and he immediately like reappears completely naked.
That was so smart.
Yeah.
And I still hadn't really caught on to the fact that he was just like, his wish had been to be invisible. And I was like, oh, he just grabbed his ghost.
Yeah.
And he just appeared.
Right.
But I get it.
And the woman like screams, and Sam again is like, don't worry, ma'am, I'm with the health department. Which that wouldn't have been a good explanation for me. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here?
And what is this naked guy doing here?
Yeah. And she immediately leaves. And again, like this kid who's played by Callum Worthy is just hilarious. He kind of like makes this hilarious sound when he's like caught.
Yeah. He's really good. He's good at being like, I don't know.
Awkward.
Super awkward and like just a, I don't know, freckly teen, you know, just like so dorky.
You have to watch him on the act. He's
I'm stoked
my
now.
favorite part of the show, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And he's actually from a Disney Channel TV show called Austin and Ally as well. So
That's cool.
Does the teen well. So Sam chastises the kid for wishing they could be invisible to watch girls. And the kid embarrassingly says no, like tries to deny it.
What are you doing then?
Yeah. But Sam tells him to put on some pants and stay visible.
And this was so funny because he was like, okay, and like walks off and you see like half his butt in the mirror behind him.
Yeah, you do. It's perfect. Oh my gosh. Now Dean's walking down the street when he sees Todd chasing after the group of kids now. And Todd's like, yeah, you better run. And then he like looks at Dean. And this kid plays scary well.
Yes, he does. He's got this like death stare.
Yeah. And he also, poor thing, like he has bruises on his face and stuff from, I guess, where the kids were beating him up. Mm-hmm. But he goes to Dean, you got a problem, mister?
He's like, oh, shit.
And Dean, like, a little bit scared, is like, what? No. And Todd all of a sudden just runs off. And that's when Dean's stomach gurgles. Oh, man. He's just a badass at this
Todd
point.
Is the best.
Yeah. So Sam gets back to the hotel, and Dean's, like, throwing his guts up. And he says, the wishes turned bad, Sam. The wishes turned very bad. Which is so gross. They explain Dean explains the coin is Babylonian. It's cursed by this like god of primordial chaos. Some priests worked some black magic to make the coin and sow the seeds of chaos within it. And there's only one way to stop it. They got to find the first wisher so they can pull out the coin and reverse the spells. And they, mentioned that things are a little crazy now, but as soon as the word gets out about the well, things will start getting more crazy. So I really like this. I like the idea that the way to defeat it is by removing the coin, that first wisher.
Yeah, I like that too. And I thought it was, like, as soon as they said that, I was like, oh no. That's got to be really hard. But they got lucky, really, in being able to track down the one who wished first and used the coin. But I was like, man, how do you do that? Like, there are all these wishes, crazy shit's happening. Like, how do you track down the first person and get them to undo it?
I guess the good thing is that everything, like mostly everything is being documented, like the lottery ticket winner, and then the invisible boy thing. But they kind of like ran into the teddy bear and all of that. But I mean, things are getting crazier at this point, because this is the point where we cut to the teddy. And he's got a shotgun to his mouth.
As soon as they show it, I was like, no.
But I love how, like, serious they play this. Yes. And how, like, in any other TV show or movie, when we do see this type of suicide happen, it's usually, like, gruesome and terrible, but also they do the same thing where they pan to the wall behind the person,
because you don't want to see that.
No, you don't. They never show it, but you see the blood splatter on the wall. But this time the camera pans to the wall, we hear the gunshot, and then feathers come flying against the wall. Yeah, it's not even feathers, it's like fluff. But
I knew that was going to happen. I was like, oh, it's just going to be stuffing.
Right. But they kind of undermine the whole thing, because we pan back to the teddy and we see that, like, the backside of his head is, like, blown out now. But he's still alive, and he screams, why? Why?
No.
Yeah, he's just stuck with his life.
Misery. Poor baby.
Poor teddy. We get you.
I laughed out loud.
Yeah. It's so fucked up, but it's hilarious.
It is fucked up.
So we go back to Sam and Dean. It seems to be nighttime, and Dean's asleep and dreaming some bad dreams of his time in hell. And Sam wakes him up and asks if he slept well. And Dean immediately grabs for the bottle of liquor. Sam's like, you think I can't see it, the nightmares, the drinking, but I'm not dumb. I'm with you 24/7.
Yeah, is he not supposed to see that, Dean?
Right. I can see something's wrong with you. I'm your brother. I wish you'd talk to me. And Dean evades this with a joke. Careful what you wish for. And, he pushes it off. He says, enough with the couples therapy. I'm on a job. I want to work. So Sam...
And I really liked that whole scene, because Sam was really kind of like pushing him. Like, please can we talk about this? Like, I'm not stupid. Like, I see that this is happening. Oh, and is this the part where he says, Uriel's not lying, you are?
I think it's a little bit later when we finally do get Dean telling the truth. But yeah, like, I like that he is pushing
I'm sorry,
Dean.
I thought it was that part. But yeah, he was like, don't lie to me, bro.
Right. And usually he gives up a little bit easier, I think we've seen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So
and he wasn't this time.
Yeah, and maybe it's because he can see like how heavily it's affecting Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Dean. I'm just mixing them up today. Yeah, how heavily it's affecting Dean. And so he's just kind of like being a good brother right now.
Yeah.
Doesn't
want him to carry the load alone.
Yeah. So Sam relents. He's gone through all the people but can't track who was first. Dean, who happens to be holding a newspaper in his hand and happens to be on the page, sees the couple from the restaurant with an engagement announcement from about the time the wishes started.
Boom.
There we go. Now, this is really kind of fucked up. At the couple's apartment, the girl, her name is Hope, we find out, brings Wes, the nerdy-looking guy, a snack.
A feast.
Which is a beautifully cooked whole entire chicken, and it looks like Martha Stewart baked it.
Yeah, it's got like garnish and potatoes and all this shit.
And he says she didn't have to do that, but she says she wanted to because I love you more than anything, lover.
Ooh.
Gross.
Lover freaks me out.
Lover is kind of weird.
Like I don't know. Unless you're like legit
lover.
Like lovers and not like in a relationship or something. I don't know.
Hey,
I feel
lover.
like it only
like I'm just trying to say
it's making me really uncomfortable.
I just feel like it's sex operator talk.
Yeah. I could see that too.
Like can we do an experiment and go back home and call our significant others lovers, all of us together?
I'll be like,
what?
What'd you say?
Or
please don't say that
or
again.
I like it. So Wes gets kind of serious and asks her if she's happy. She says yes, but he tells her that he wants her to be happy about stuff she was happy about before. And then she gets really, really upset and scared that he's upset with her. She like goes down on her knees and she begs him that she'll do better and that if he's mad at her, she'll just die. She'll die. Mm-hmm. And he calms her down when the doorbell rings. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's not going so good.
It's not great. Obviously, like, there's a big issue with consent here.
You think?
Yeah.
Just a bit. And, yeah.
And we did find out later what it is he actually wished for. But I was curious about it here. Mm-hmm. Like, what did he wish for that would make her be like this?
Yeah, how did he do this?
Yeah, because she's not just like, in love with him or whatever. She's like, he's the only thing she thinks about.
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah, it's like she exists to please him.
Right. It made me think of the movie Bedazzled.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen that in a very long time.
I used to love it. It's probably really stupid now.
Probably, but I liked it too.
I really loved it. But, the whole thing is he really has a really big crush on a girl named Allison, and he makes a deal with the devil for 3 wishes. And I think the first one is that he's like really powerful or athletic, and athletic, I think, first, and he becomes this humongous basketball player. But there's an issue with the wish, right? He's humongous as a basketball player, but he has a tiny dick, I think it is, or something like that.
It always comes back around.
Right. But one of them is that he's like this Colombian drug lord.
Yes.
And he's married to Allison, but she's like sleeping with other people on the side.
Sucks for you.
Right. So this is kind of the reverse where the wish is going bad in that they're together, but like she's like way, way too into him.
Yeah, you really need to lock those wishes in. Think about all of the ways that it could be turned back on you, and try to phrase it in a way.
Yeah,
that could keep that from happening.
Exactly. So I also just wanted to mention that Wes is played by Ted Raimi, Sam Raimi's brother.
Oh,
Sam
that's
Raimi,
interesting.
the director, if you're not familiar with his work, the director of Evil Dead, the Spider-Man movies, the ones with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
And just a big, name in the industry. And
Well, Ted was really good. I liked his acting.
I did too. I really liked him. I found a interview where he just talks about how excited he was that he was on Supernatural.
That's cute.
Yeah, because he was a fan of the show, and he's just a fan of sci-fi in general. He was also doing at the same time some show called Legend of the Seeker, which I think was a similar type of sci-fi fantasy show.
That's cool.
At the time. So cool for Ted. So we see Hope get the door. She brings back Sam and Dean, who are posing as florists. I mean, they just don't care at this point.
No. Like, we're the fucking florist, whoever you want us to be. Like,
yeah.
Just let me in.
Yeah, and they kind of say that, but like they've already posed as FBI agents, health inspectors, teddy bear doctors,
florists.
And then florists. So Hope leaves to get her flowers folder, which I immediately thought of you because I know your least favorite question right now is what kind of flowers do you want?
Yes, questions about the florist because I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It's flowers.
So you don't have a flower folder. A specific, because Hope has a specific folder just for the flowers.
She's so excited. It's only been a month.
Yeah, I know.
She's real into it. No, but you gave me an awesome, whole wedding planner folder.
I did.
Planner, which is super exciting, and I've started working on. It does have a section for flowers, and I skipped it. So far, I haven't faced it.
That's fine with me.
I'll get to it at some point when it's rational.
Yeah. When you know a little bit more.
Yeah.
You've locked down other
when we're
important
not 9
things.
months away.
Right.
Everybody calm down.
So Sam notices Wes is a coin collector. And they say, did you happen to lose a coin lately? And by lose, drop into a wishing well at Lucky Chin's. They're really, tough with Wes.
Yeah, they are.
I thought that was interesting.
I can see why.
Yeah, because I think they had a big issue with what he wished for.
Yeah, agreed. And it's also a very selfish thing to do. Mm-hmm. And now other people are paying for it, too.
Yeah. And just then Hope comes back with her flower ideas. Sam asks how they met. And she said, it's so weird. They've lived in this small town forever, but she never really noticed him until last month when she saw him and he was just glowing, she says.
Oh, really?
They're like, interesting. And Ted's like, Ted. Wes is kind of like, stop talking already. So can you get us some coffee? And she says, yes. And I just hate this part.
It's really awful.
I had to look away.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
She kisses him, but way too much.
Keeps kissing him, won't stop. I do love the way Sam and Dean react because as it keeps going, they're tilting their heads
and they're
looking at him what's happening here? What are you really?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What is happening here?
Yeah.
And Wes looks so uncomfortable, but also he doesn't stop her. I don't know.
Okay, great,
thank you.
Okay.
It's kind of like my kisses from my dog.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No,
bye-bye.
stop, don't.
So Sam and Dean tell him to fess up the truth. They already know what happened. And so Wes says he explains that he got the coin from his grandfather who got it in Africa during World War II. Which I thought was really interesting. Mm-hmm. All his grandpa said was that it was a wishing coin, but to never use it.
I wondered, I wish that we had heard about some time that his grandpa had used it.
Yeah.
Or some story that he'd had about it.
I would have loved that also. I kind of played some stuff in my mind about it.
Yeah, me too.
I think it would have been really cool. Maybe he had an experience where he was in Africa and he saw somebody use it and it went really, really bad. And also the fact that it was during World War II.
Yeah.
And what would you wish for during that time?
Right.
Yeah. That's a really fascinating side
whole other
story.
Series.
Yeah. That I want to learn about. So they tell him he's got to take the wish back. And even though he obviously has an issue with how Hope is acting, he's like, no, like, you're crazy. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. He doesn't hate it so much that he would want to undo it.
Right. But Sam and Dean basically threaten him. Like, Dean literally pulls a gun on him.
Yeah, that's a threat.
Yeah. That's not counts. Basically a threat. It's a threat.
And I'm glad he did because, come on, dude, we're not fucking around.
Yeah.
Just come quietly and do this.
People can start to get hurt.
Yeah.
And they take him with them, and we see that Hope has overheard this from the kitchen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did you think like, uh-oh?
Uh-huh. Totally. But I didn't know how that was going to come back. I didn't know what she could do or like how she would take that, you know? Like I didn't know what they would say that would be so bad and like I don't know. I wasn't able to predict what was going to happen, but
right. Which is pretty crazy, but we'll get there right now. Yeah. So on the drive over to Lucky's, I want to mention that this drive is pretty long.
It is a long drive.
I just want to mention that.
Yeah. It's like a very woodsy.
It is.
Drive.
So they seem to be a bit away from the central part of town.
Uh-huh.
And Wes is explaining, I just wish she would love me more than anything. So it's like,
oh, is that what you wished for?
Mm-hmm.
Idiot.
And again, they repeat to him, be careful what you wish for. And they say, the wishes are twisted. Wes complains that it's easy for them. They're good-looking guys. They probably have it easy getting girls.
Which isn't wrong, but everything else sucks.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and they
come
kind
see,
of start saying that, like, you think our life is easy, but they don't really go into it.
Mm-hmm. But they're basically like, no, dude, we never get what we want.
Right.
Don't think that this is how life is.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's just a poor excuse, for what he did.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is a really weird part. This is probably the only thing that I did not like about this episode. Because the car bumps into something, and they don't know what it is. It's just like a speed bump. But then we see that the invisible boy, they ran over him or something.
He becomes visible again, and he's like, oh, ow.
Yeah. But why is he in the middle of the road naked?
I don't know.
I was just like, what is happening here? We just needed to get that naked boy in one last time.
Yeah, I guess he's just wandering around town naked.
And he didn't listen to Sam.
No. Although I have to say that would be a pretty sweet power.
To be invisible?
Yeah, we've talked about this before, but my power that I would wish for would be teleportation. Because then I could see everything and never have to drive, and my stress levels would go way down. My blood pressure would be awesome.
Yes.
And actually, it is pretty awesome anyway. It's just my anxiety.
Every time you come into work, you have a story about some idiot on the drive.
Yeah, some asshole.
So that would end.
They were really picking on me recently. I didn't even do anything wrong, and anyway. But, yeah, it's a pretty cool power, and I could see how you would want to just be like, nobody can see me. I'm going to be naked and walk around.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've said that in the past or entertained the idea of that. I've also entertained the idea of, like, stopping time.
Ooh.
Because sometimes I'm just like, I like this moment.
Really?
Yeah, I just want to...
That's so cute.
I just want to chill here.
That's really sweet.
I don't want life to go on. Just chill right here.
Yeah. Can I just drag this out a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then we get this like joke that I don't know what exactly it's all referring to. Where Dean says, "You get what you want, you go crazy. Just look at Michael Jackson or David Hasselhoff." I get the Michael Jackson, Neverland Ranch.
Sure.
David Hasselhoff?
I don't get that.
So I did find Hasselhoff.
The Hoff.
So in 2006, fans of David Hasselhoff launched a tongue-in-cheek website, Get Hasselhoff to #1, in an attempt to get the 1989 hit Looking for Freedom to the top of the UK music charts. I just thought that was interesting. But also he tried launching a MySpace-like social networking site called Hoffspace in 2008. Which is like right before this episode.
That's weird.
Because I think this is 2009.
That is fucking weird.
So okay, I get it now. It's pretty fucking weird.
Was there some other shit in the past maybe that he like...
Well, nothing that would have happened already. He did get a 2010 show called The Hasselhoffs. I think I remember that. It was just about him and his family. But maybe that's what they're talking about or referring to. But I thought of King Ludwig II only because I visited Neuschwanstein Castle.
Neuschwanstein.
There you go. When, on my Europe trip. And he was basically like called like the Mad King of Bavaria. And he, like Michael Jackson, basically spent all of his, empire's money on building this extravagant castle that had even like a fake grotto and everything. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. And so I got to visit it and it was pretty fucking cool.
Wow.
And he never came out of his castle. He was like holed up in it.
Like a recluse in the castle.
He was like the beast. He was like the beast.
Cool.
So Wes is kind of like, where's this insanity you guys are talking about? Like, everything's fucking fine. Cue, Todd. This little fucking kid, he's turning over a car with all of the other kids in it.
Yeah, literally picking it up, pushing it over with his little baby hands.
Yeah. And then he drops to the floor, or he doesn't drop to the floor, but he like screams into the air, "Kneel before Todd! Kneel before Todd!"
I love that so much. So he's just like screaming to the heavens.
Totally power hungry. Like he made one wish and then just like got carried away with it.
And like Todd is all powerful.
Yeah. So Dean gets out of the car to intercept Todd, and Sam takes off to take Wes to Lucky's.
Yeah, and Wes was like, "Oh, okay, I get it.
I get it now." So Dean goes up to Todd. He's like, "I get it. They're bullying you, but you have super strength. And with great power comes great..." And then, bam, Todd punches Dean so hard, he flies into some like trash cans. And it sounded as if like Todd was at first listening because he's like, "You don't get it. They beat me up every day."
He was starting to talk to him, and Dean was like listening. It was really cute. He's like all bent over talking to this kid. He's like, "They beat me up," and
yeah. But then he's like, "No, I'm not listening to you anymore.
He doesn't give a fuck.
I don't have to.
Yeah,
I have great power.
Shut up, dude."
So this is fucking crazy. Sam and Wes get to Lucky's, and all of a sudden Sam gets hit by lightning.
That was crazy. Out of nowhere. It was like one rain cloud shows up and just strikes him down.
Yes, and he we see his feet, like they fly out of his shoes.
Classic.
And Wes runs inside and he sees that Hope had made this wish. So this is why I was like, pay attention. How far is this place? Because Hope got there before them.
Yeah, she's already there.
It's like, that was super fast.
Yep.
I know they stopped to drop Dean off to intercept Todd, but
that was it.
Yeah. So she says that she wished it since Sam was going to make Wes wish away their love. But
and he's like, "I've created a monster."
Yeah. He realizes that now. Mm-hmm. And Dean is struggling. He gets up and he says, "Hey, kid, I didn't want to do this." And he punches Todd.
And hurts his hand.
And yeah, he does nothing to Todd at all. But I just love that moment. I think we've seen...
punches a kid.
Yeah, we've seen Dean punch demons and, who look like girls.
Yeah.
And he's punched Sam. And now we get to see him punch a little kid. I love it.
It is so awesome. And Todd's just standing there like, "What, bitch?"
Yeah. And Todd starts choking out Dean. But back at Lucky Chin's, Wes realized, everything with Hope isn't right. So he decides to pull the coin back out of the well. And we see that Todd lets go of Dean, who does the cutest thing ever. And he's like, "Okay," after he catches his breath, "follow my lead." So he fakes being scared of Todd in front of the other group of kids and tells the other kids, "I wouldn't mess with this kid anymore if I were you."
And runs off.
Yeah. But like we see, because where we are with the camera, we see him make a face right after, like, okay, that was really bad acting, but I hope they fell for it.
Yeah. And it seems like they did. Like, all the kids look really scared and, like they stay back.
I think one of them says, stay back, stay back. Yeah.
And then Todd's happy with it. He kind of smiles. He's like, cool, thanks, dude.
Yeah, they won't mess with him anymore. Sam gets up immediately, so I guess the lightning, whatever had hurt him was just momentary. And Hope asks Wes if she knows him, and
oh, that was pretty sad.
Do
I know you?
It is, and he's just like, oh, no.
Yeah, I mean, sad, but also like, this is what you get.
Yep. So Wes comes out super disappointed. Hope has left. She kind of walks by Sam, like, all confused. And he hands over the coin to Sam. So we cut to, like, probably later on in the day. We see a newspaper article that the lottery ticket winner turned out to be a fake lottery ticket.
Yeah.
We see the little girl with her teddy bear.
Yep.
And her parents who have crazy sunburns. Like the mom, like we only see the mom, and we just see like she was obviously wearing sunglasses, and she has like
the sunburn shape of the glasses.
It's ridiculous.
It's so funny.
And then Dean decides to tell the truth, and he tells Sam that he was right. He shouldn't have lied to him. He remembers everything that happened in the pit. And Sam says to tell him about it. And Dean says no. He says he won't lie, but he's not going to talk about it.
And honestly, that's his prerogative. Like, at least now he's being honest, and he can just say, yeah, I remember, but no, I don't want to talk about it.
Right. Does Sam really think sharing is going to heal him? He says, the things that I saw, there aren't words. There is no forgetting. There's no making it better. Because it's right here, and he points to his head, forever. Ugh. You wouldn't understand, and I could never make you understand, so I'm sorry. We almost get teary eyes from both of them, but not quite. Yeah. But it's a touching moment.
Yeah, for sure. And I understand it too. Like, I know what he's saying. At first it sounded like it was kind of dick, like you wouldn't understand. But then he says, there's nothing I could do to make you understand. Like, he's just literally telling him, like, there's no way that I could convey to you how I feel about this and what it was like. So please don't push it anymore.
And also, I kind of feel like he's protecting him and in saying, like, I don't want you to understand because I don't want you to know what horrors are down there.
Why would I subject you to that?
Right. Oh man, and that's how we end the episode. So it is weird because it's like such a funny, crazy, silly episode, but there are some heavy points in it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty effective. I really liked the funny stuff, like it wasn't really a monster of the week, but like a theme of the week. I liked that and all the crazy shit we got out of it.
Yeah, there haven't been many instances of the one thing I can think of is Bad Day at Black Rock, where we're dealing with a cursed object, or it's not really like we're dealing with a monster.
Right.
It's just like something that is affecting human people's actions, which I really like. I do enjoy a cursed object episode. So, I was looking at the ranking and kind of struggling to find a place for it. It's funny because we really have like all of the funny episodes in like one area of our list, which, I think eventually they'll kind of expand out as they kind of get separated. But at the top of our funny list, we have no, just kidding, not that one. We have Tall Tales at number 29. And it goes down Ghostfacers, Monster Movie, Bad Day at Black Rock, Hollywood Babylon at number 33. And those are like the main funny ones. Of course, we have Mystery Spot at the very top, very tippity top.
Yeah.
But
in between there aren't any funny ones.
Yeah, and I was kind of seeing it there just because I do.
I feel that.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Because we do get like, you know, like I said, like we're talking a little bit about what we wanted to know, like with the overarching storyline, but you know, it's still not super important. We're not getting like, we're not making strides in the storyline.
Right. But I think looking at the rest of these, Wishful Thinking is the most like story centric.
Yeah. Agreed.
And that is, it does accomplish it very well.
Yeah, I was going to say that I could see it above Tall Tales. Tall Tales is at 29, so maybe it's the new 29. I don't know how you feel about that.
I could see it there as well. So that means that Wishful Thinking is going in as a new number 29, and this one's going in the trunk. I'm glad you liked this one.
Me too.
I'm glad that we had a funny episode without too many issues with it.
Yeah, because a lot of the funny episodes, like, they've gotten better recently, you know, but it seems like the early funny episodes, some of the jokes were just really hit or miss.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And some of the other things, like, around it, it was, like, again, really hit or miss.
And with this one, I think what I like about... It's funny because right now I'm listening to this interview with James Marsters, and he says something... James Marsters plays Spike on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, for those of you who still have not seen Buffy. And he says something about, like, you can really see good acting when, you know, the actors are having fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like Sam and Dean, or Jensen and Jared were really having fun in this episode.
Yeah, I could see that too. And we saw good acting. I really fully appreciated all of their reactions, their funny faces, the way that they handled everything. They could have fun with it. And that did show through.
It did. And that, I think, was the most enjoyable about it.
Agreed.
So, I'm really excited to talk about next episode. It's called I Know What You Did Last Summer. Probably without the high-pitched ending to that. But we're actually going to be recording a video reaction for our patrons.
Yeah, for that episode.
Because we do learn quite a bit in that episode. And that's going to be available at the beginning of May. And, you know, as we mentioned, as we close out this episode, as we mentioned in the last episode, we're changing some stuff up with Patreon. That's a way that you can support us just by donating a few dollars. But we're changing some of our tiers up, where at the $5 level, you'll be able to see our video reactions now, in addition to our episodes, our, side podcast episodes on the Supernatural fandom.
Right. So all the other additional content that would have previously been at the $10 level, all of that is now at $5.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
You're so welcome. We're
happy about that.
May, that video reaction will be available along with all the others that are already up there. And you can find that at patreon.com/ I think it's / Hiiii to Hell podcast.
I think you're right.
I think so. If, you can't support us that way, you can support us by leaving us a rating and review. That's always freaking awesome because it actually really helps people find us on iTunes.
Yeah.
So please do that if you haven't already. We appreciate it. And we, last week we just released another mailbag minisode, which is always really fun to hear your thoughts. So please continue to send those in to hiiiwaytohellpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us voice recordings.
Yeah,
on
videos,
there.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, videos. We got a video in there. Or just a regular email. And you can also leave us a voice recording on our
voicemail.
Hotline voicemail, yeah.
Don't call us lover.
Please call us lover. Don't you mean that, Christina? Please do it. I want to hear your interpretation of that line. And that's at 908-516-HELL, 908-516-4355. So yeah, do that.
Do it.
All right. Well, until next time, we'll see you on the highway to hell. Bye.